Manga-Waido.
My name is Sayori Hiragi. Today, I'm at the cafe with Yuko, my best friend since high school. Yuko got married a year ago, but she still frequently meets up with me at my invitation. I believed at the time that Yuko and I would remain friends for the rest of our lives. However, thanks for today. Let's hang out again. Yeah. What? Is something wrong? You know, from next time, can you stop wearing such shabby clothes from nameless brands? Yuko seems to have changed since she got married. Sorry. People are gonna assume I'm not worth anything if I'm with you, you know? I want you to wear something better than that. For the first time, my best friend made fun of me for what I was wearing. Yuko began to look down on me ever since. Yuko married a man who works for a prestigious company, and she certainly started wearing more luxurious things than before. Perhaps that's why she brags about brands I've never heard of and makes fun of what I'm wearing. I was bewildered by Yuko, who seemed to have suddenly completely changed personalities. I've always wondered, but those are the clothes you bought at the usual place, right? Yeah? How are you still wearing those? I threw them all away since it's embarrassing. Our favorite clothing store in the department store in front of the station. These were clothes we bought together to match. But I guess these are embarrassing to wear now for Yuko. Leaving me feeling down, she told me what brand her bag was from today, how much her husband spent on her wedding anniversary, and so on. Flaunting her expensive things and how much love she gets from her husband. Here she goes again. Yuko is like this every time I see her these days. She wears name brand items that I can't afford and shows them off. I nod my head in agreement as she goes on and on. And then, one day, when I was being told Yuko's boastful story as usual, Koki-san is a terrific salesman for a prestigious company, and he's really great. He's even been on many overseas business trips. I see. Sayori, you're not very good at listening. Huh? You keep brushing me off. That's why you're about to turn 30 with no boyfriend. That's what Yuko told me. Yuko seems to think I can't get married and makes fun of me like that, but I was actually dating someone, which I kept a secret from her. His name is Yoji Shikakura. We've been dating for a year now. The reason why I haven't told Yuko is because she would definitely make fun of me if I told her. Yoji graduated from high school and went straight to work at a factory. He also grew up with a single mother. Yoji lived in China because of his father's work, but his father was a womanizer and his parents divorced when he was in high school. He returned to Japan with his mother and started working immediately after graduating from high school so that his younger brother could go to college. But Yuko would probably make fun of him despite such circumstances. Normally, when someone teases me about being single, I would just let it slide. But this was an exception. I was recently proposed by him, and we were going to get married. If we are to have a wedding ceremony, I felt obliged to invite Yuko. So I decided to tell her. I'm sorry for not telling you before, but I actually have a boyfriend. What? You do? And we're getting married. I thought she might accuse me of keeping quiet, but fortunately she didn't and replied with, good for you. So, where did your husband go to college and what kind of job does he do? I knew it would come to that, but there's no point in lying now. I told her that the man I was marrying worked at a factory and finished his education with high school. Somewhere in my heart, I had hoped that she would congratulate me on my marriage. But engaged to a factory worker? What kind of punishment is that? I had expected it to some extent, but what Yuko spewed hurt me more than I had imagined. Are the qualifications of the person you're going to marry that important to you? I just about managed to say that as I ran home that day. After that, Yuko must have been convinced that she had the right to look down on me even more, and things got worse. You'll probably live in poverty for the rest of your life, so you should enjoy it while you still can. Since I feel sorry for you, do you want me to give you my used bag? Although, it's probably a brand you don't know. Where did the Yuko that used to be my best friend go? I was getting tired of her actions and words and wanted some peace of mind, so I decided to talk to my fiancé about it. And then...
She'll probably come to our wedding. Is it okay if I introduce myself?
Huh? You shouldn't do that. It's only going to make you uncomfortable.
It's fine. I'll take care of it.
He sounded confident, so I reluctantly agreed. When I informed Yuko that he wanted to meet her, she immediately gave me the okay. The place was a high-end restaurant in the city. Supposedly, Yuko would pay for the meal. But when I arrived at the restaurant, I was surprised.
Hello. Ever since the wedding, huh?
To my surprise, her husband was also there. Yuko brought him without telling me.
Anyways, shall we order? You've never had something like this, have you?
Yuko's husband, Koki Miyashige. I talked to him at the wedding before, and sorry to Yuko, but he had an air of condescension about him which I didn't like. This is my fiancé, Yoji Shikakura.
Pleased to meet you.
And so our dinner began. Where are you planning to go for your honeymoon? We actually went to France. To be honest, I was in the mood to leave right away, but I couldn't since the meal had been ordered as a course. I decided to eat the food in silence while listening to Yuko and Yuko's husband brag stories.
It sounds like you have a tough job, Shikakura-san. Working in a factory seems like a lot of hard work. Not really. I don't do that much heavy labor. Oh, light work then? I've never done it, so I don't know. Physical labor must be good for you. I move around a lot, but I'm always in cars and airplanes, sitting around.
That's right. Koki has a lot of client meetings and business trips, so he's very busy. They only talk about how proud they are of themselves, no matter the topic. Just as I was dreading about how I was going to have to endure this for the next few hours.
That sounds like a lot of work. Do you go abroad pretty often? Several times a year. I always have to leave my wife behind, so it's hard for me. I see. That's tough.
That's right. He's going on an overseas business trip next month as well. Shikakura-san, you don't seem to have any sudden overseas business trips, so it must be easy.
If you go abroad so often, you must be fluent in English, right? Well, to the extent that doesn't interfere with business negotiations. That's good to know. Then let's talk English. I spend a lot of time over there, so I actually prefer English. Huh?
As Yoji said that, he suddenly began to speak fluently in English. The three of us, including myself, froze in confusion.
Were you unable to hear me? I spoke clearly so that you could easily understand. You speak very fluent English. Where did you learn it? I didn't learn it. I lived in England and China until high school, so English is more my native tongue. What? Also, I think you seem to have some kind of misunderstanding. I am actually a factory manager and we have factories overseas, so business trips abroad are pretty common. And which company do you work for? Manga Industries. What?
I didn't know either, but it turns out that Yoji works for a leading company that everyone knows of, and Koki-san had to ask the name of the company over and over again. On top of that, he rose through the ranks at an exceptionally fast pace despite joining the company right out of high school. He told us that his fluency in English, Mandarin, and Cantonese were valued, leading him to take charge of the management of factories overseas. And I was just as surprised as they were. I knew you could speak Chinese, but you also lived in England?
Yeah, all throughout elementary school.
You told me you were just a factory worker.
Well, it's still a factory job, so...
Now I was the one questioning him. As we were talking, Yuko and her husband suddenly got up from their seats. We should probably...
Yeah, we've been taking too long. Please excuse us.
After saying this, they left the payment on the table and quite literally ran off. We laughed together as we watched their pathetic backs. Afterwards, we had the ceremony and got married. We sent invitations to Yuko and her husband, but they didn't come. Because I heard that after the dinner, Koki-san was laid off. Despite all his big talk, he was actually a dropout within the company and ended up settling for a job at a smaller company. However, Koki-san's wild financial habits from working for a larger company stayed with him, and he was fired there as well for embezzlement. At the same time, Yuko found out that he was having an affair, and after a big fight, they ended up getting a divorce. Rumor has it that Koki-san is now working part-time to make ends meet, while Yuko worked part-time to pay her alimony. They went downhill on their own, and it made me realize that karma was real after all. It also made me realize that I need to keep working on myself so that I don't become too dependent on my husband.
I'm Daiki Mizutani. I know it's sudden, but I'm not good with women. The reason is because, well, when I was in middle school, and I had an anime keychain on my bag,
Otaku! Gross!
they called me names. When I just glared at them because I couldn't say anything back,
What the hell is that look?
they got pissed at me. The next day, they wouldn't stop talking crap about me or knocking things off my desk on purpose. I hated middle school because of that. My high school was an all-boys school, and my college was also mostly men. I didn't have to deal with women, so it was peaceful. But when I became an adult, I had to talk to women. I worked in a factory near where I grew up, but as you could expect, there were a lot of women. At first, I was nervous. But I realized that at this age, most women don't mess with you for no reason like in school.
Mr. Mizutani, here are the documents for the meeting tomorrow.
Thank you! I appreciate it!
Don't mention it. Let me know if you need anything else.
At first, I was a little nervous, but I eventually got used to it and started talking to women normally. Kyoko, one of the co-workers that started working here at the same time as me, was beautiful and easy to talk to. It was probably so much fun to be able to date a girl like her. I had fantasized so often about dating her. But I know a guy like me would never be able to get with her. If it's going to be awkward because I ask her out and I get turned down, I should just keep it to myself. But then, one day... Oh, that's Polycua! I saw that the pen that she was using had a character I liked, and I talked to her.
Huh? You know about them?
Of course! I always watch it every Sunday morning.
Me too. I've always liked the series.
Me too! I thought she was beautiful and innocent, but apparently she liked anime and manga too. We started talking to each other more often. We went on lunch dates and spent more time with each other on days off. I wish this never ended. I really enjoy being around you. Can we hang out from now on too?
Does that mean you want to go out?
Yes! Yes, it does! Will you go out with me?
Of course, I'd love to.
Miss Kyoko accepted with a smile. I had made my first girlfriend. I couldn't count how many times I wasn't sure if I was dreaming. Luckily, I would never wake up from this dream. I was going to a cafe with Miss Kyoko that day, but it turns out, good things don't last. Oh!
Hey, where the hell are you looking?
I was just standing around when someone ran into me. He started picking a fight with me. You hit me!
What? You trying to start a fight with me?
Not at all, but I don't want to be told that I started something when I didn't.
What is this nerd talking about? Just pay the money, apologize, and leave.
The woman he was with was also the worst. This is the best thing to do in situations like this. Excuse me! Someone please call the police! He's picking a fight with me! I yelled from the top of my lungs. I probably didn't expect such an introvert like me to scream for help. The stupid couple.
Piece of shit!
Whatever, let's go.
They left quickly. A few minutes later, Kyoko showed up. We had a fun day, but I was really hoping I never had to deal with that kind of couple again. Then, half a year later, she had asked me to meet her parents, and I went to her house when...
Hello, pleasure to meet you. I'm her younger sister, Tomoka.
You've got to be joking! That was the woman from that incident! I can't believe it's Kyoko's sister! but Tomoka hadn't realized that it was me.
You look pretty boring. What college did you go to?
She would talk to me like nothing happened. I didn't want to make a scene considering her parents were there, so I just pretended everything was normal. I figured that even if she became family after marriage, we wouldn't see her often. I didn't want to make any stress happen between the two sisters either. And it was as if she just wanted to squash my feelings.
Are you having fun with this boring guy, sis? Aren't you bored?
Tomoka, enough! Daiki is a great man!
Yeah, Tomoka! Don't be rude the first time you meet him!
You go back to your room. I'm so sorry, Mr. Daiki.
It's okay. Luckily, everyone besides her had liked me, and I figured everything would be fine. I actually went back to her house to have dinner occasionally, and we would even go out to eat sometimes. I proposed to her, and she accepted. Then, just as I finished introducing Kyoko to my parents, and we were going to file the paperwork, this happened.
My father's going to be having his birthday. We're going to have a barbecue in his yard. Would you like to come?
Of course! I'd love to! However, there was some trouble at work on the day of the barbecue, and I had to swing by the office. Sorry, I'll head over as soon as everything is done.
Don't worry, he won't hold it against you.
If that was the case, I didn't want to skip out this important birthday right before we were going to get married. I had solved my troubles and went to our clients to deliver the product. I figured I would go to her house even in uniform to at least say hello. I won't make it in time if I go back to change. I'm sorry for the attire.
Oh, it's really okay. I'm glad you could make it. Come on, have a bite.
I go add some more meat. Sweetie, can you help me carry the food?
Of course.
After Kyoko went to help Mom, it was just me, Tomoka, and another man in the yard. It was that boyfriend who ran into me. His name was Genya, and he came closer to me with a shit-eating smirk on his face. He'd forgotten about me, just like Tomoka.
You had work today?
Yeah, there was some trouble, so I had to swing by.
That uniform, though.
Sorry, I had to swing by after work.
Your uniform is seriously pathetic. You work in a factory or something? What company do you work at?
He works at the same factory as sis.
I haven't heard of it. I'm sure it's a crappy company.
It's a company that let his sis work for them. I'm sure it's not that great.
Man, if they get married, we're going to be brothers-in-law. Yuck.
Oh, come on. Even if it's true, introverts get hurt real quick. Don't be like that.
I don't want to be related to you either. Maybe I could have let it go if I had a little alcohol in me, but unfortunately, I drove here. I was pissed, so I shot back! I may be working at a factory, but it's not a small company.
Look at the introvert talking. Yuck.
How big is it then? If you can brag, brag, buddy.
Oh, that car you drive? It uses our parts. He looked pissed after I pointed at his parked car and started getting angry.
What? That's an expensive import that I got from my grandpa! I'm sure your crappy factory doesn't produce anything for it!
Yeah, don't be spewing bullshit.
It's not, bullshit. Look at this picture. This is when I went to that car's headquarters and we made a deal. The two slowly started changing their attitude when they saw the photo.
Where do you take this again?
In Germany, where this car was produced, right next to the headquarters.
This is photoshopped! It's fake! No way a guy like you could be making business deals with someone abroad!
Do you want to see my business card? I've made them in several different languages, so everyone can read them. I showed them my business card with various languages, and he just shut up real quick. Tomoka actually started talking more.
Wow, so you earn a lot.
Probably quite a bit more than most people my age.
That's so nice. Marry me instead of my sister then.
What? What are you talking about?
Shut up! You shut your face!
Just as they started heating up, Kyoko and the parents came back. It was perfect timing, so I said out loud, "Marry Tomoka? Yeah, I could never."
Why? I'm prettier than her.
You run into me in the road and blackmail me for money. I would never marry such a corrupt, dirty woman. At first, they had no idea what I was talking about, but eventually... Remember a year ago? You ran into me at the station. They figured it out.
That was you?
Damn it! You pissed me off so much! You owe me money from that!
Afterwards, they figured out who was standing behind them and froze in place.
What is going on? Starting fights? Threatening for money?
They were fumbling for words, so I explained everything that happened to him. And he was furious.
What are you doing? You're blackmailing people now!
No, Dad, it was Kenya.
What? You said that loser over there would cough up money, so go do it!
Don't say that! Dad, please forgive me.
No! I'm tired of you two! You two can get married on your own!
But...
Then what about the house? What about the down payment? Of course I'm not going to help you! You better leave before I get even more angry!
I heard from Kyoko later on that they were chased out of their homes. Apparently, they did get married, but what was waiting for them was a crappy apartment instead of a nice newly built home.
They always fight, apparently. But Dad can't forgive Tomoka, so he won't let her back into the house. So she can't divorce him either.
Sorry that I caused this mess.
No, it's okay. She was always like that. She deserves to get punished a little bit. Dad and Mom are saying the same thing.
I guess so.
I'm sorry my sister was such a pain.
It's okay. It's in the past. Anyway, about our marriage.
You can call me Honey now. You realize that, right?
Okay then. Honey,
Yes?
let's have a great marriage together.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we got married. Tomoka never showed up, and she's basically cut ties with her family. No one knows where she is or what she's doing.
You don't have to tell her where you two live either.
So I didn't tell them. We didn't have to worry about them running into our house either, so it was all peaceful. I was seriously annoyed with how they picked fights with me, but because they showed their true selves, I was able to enjoy this wonderful, newlywed life. Maybe it was good that I lost myself that day. I hope I get to lead a wonderful life with Kyoko.
My name was Mazukatsu Tanaka. I'm 32 and single. I currently own a ramen store. The best ramen has to be the tonkatsu based with the original soup, made from only the finest fish cuisine. However, that wasn't enough anymore. A few years have passed, and there's a lot of competition building up. It was all heavy competition here. We were all working hard to bring in customers. There were stores who would work with talent and idols to try to make their food look great for Instagram. Our store's not nearly fancy enough for that kind of marketing. Instead, we just send out flyers and just cook great ramen. Then, one night, right past 2 a.m., I was starting to wrap up shop and send home the part-time workers. When? Middle school? No. Elementary school? She was in raggedy clothes and came into the store. Welcome?
A junior-sized ramen, please.
A kid shouldn't be out this late all alone. I should have warned her, but she had a serious look about her, so I missed my chance. She looked terrified and barely spoke up. She had her reasons. Whatever. Let's just get her to eat first. I gave her a little extra beef slices just for her.
Thank you.
She thanks me before eating. What a proper girl. I was watching her eat out of the corner of my eye, and I couldn't bring myself to believe she was an elementary schooler. I didn't really do a great job working with customers, but I had to talk to her. Are you in middle school? Maybe you're studying for entrance exams?
I'm a freshman in high school.
Freshman? I figured you were younger. Oh. Sorry. Is this sexual harassment?
Oh, it's fine. I get that often.
She kept quietly eating her ramen. She was skinny and was small and somehow a high schooler. What kind of house did she live in? Where are her parents? Do they know she's not home? How is it?
It's delicious.
That's good. I hated myself for lacking communication skills the most now. If I could just get the conversation to flow, I might have been able to eke out an answer from her and help her out. She finished the soup and said thank you for the meal. She really knows her manners. I was impressed when she suddenly changed her attitude when it came time to pay. I had no idea where she pulled it out of, but she had a pair of scissors pointed at me.
I'm sorry. Please call the police.
Her hands were trembling. I could see that she was seriously troubled and so malnourished. Is she trying to threaten me? I was actually a little relieved. This gave me a chance to talk. Police, huh? I'll call them, but why don't you calm down first, huh? If something's on your mind, why don't we talk about it? I tried being kind to her. She was silent, but eventually dropped the scissors and collapsed as if she had just been gut punched.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have nowhere to go.
She said her name was Yuka Motomura. I figured I would take her to the police, but this time she said no. I didn't want to throw her out into the streets, so I took her back to my place. I heard more from her, and I could feel the fury building within me. Both of her parents had no interest in raising her, and gave her just enough to not die. They let her do whatever she wanted, and they always went gambling.
I know it's weird. That was just a normal thing at our house. But sometimes I really just couldn't get over it.
I completely understand why you'd be upset. Listen to me, Yuka, you can't stay there. I decided to let her in on my secret as well. I actually spent my childhood in similar circumstances as yours.
You too?
Yeah. It's still painful to remember. My parents were just like hers and had no interest in raising me. They left me some money and vanished for days on end, so the city council actually brought it up as a problem. So the city council chief actually helped me out by calling a certain facility.
A facility?
A place that would protect kids like us. If you want, I can show you too. You don't have to give me an answer right away. She thought about it for a second before
I want to go.
answering me. It was a few days before the faculty members had contacted me.
Yuka is a great kid. She's getting along great with the regulars here.
I think she'll be alright going forward. Afterwards, Yuka's parents had received some warnings from the social workers with regards to their negligence. From what I heard, they were pretty close to being charged with criminal negligence of a minor. They knew that they had little to no experience or capacity to raise a child, so after being instructed to attend some courses, they changed slightly. However, they were a little hesitant to rekindle their relationship with Yuka, and so they would support her, without directly intervening further in Yuka's life. 4 years passed after the whole incident. The area was opening and closing with new ramen stores. Our store was pretty rough, and I'm sure the regular stores would have closed down by now. The only reason that the other competitors are still even down here are from the aggressive marketing towards pop culture. The main company, being big and able to use its connections, is tough to beat. We really had to do what we could to fight back. However, the only thing I could think of was keep making better tasting ramen. I know, I need to be smarter. It was just as I was struggling to stay afloat. Excuse me, do you have a second? A man claiming to be a famous YouTuber's assistant. We're currently in production of a program that introduces stores that aren't as famous as they should be. The YouTuber is Yuri Takamiya. Maybe you've heard of her. Is it okay if I interview you? I mean, sure. That'd be great. I gotta warn you though, I'm not really well versed in the blog sphere, so... Oh, don't worry about that. We're gonna take care of all that. Hey, he says it's fine. Come on in.
Hello! I was so worried you might say no.
This girl must have been Yuri Takamiya. She was young and bright. She seemed likable, and and was definitely beautiful. She came to me in the kitchen. I was a little confused as she started staring at me. She bowed deeply.
It's been a minute. Thank you for all your kindness.
Huh? You came by before? I think I'd remember a beautiful girl like you.
What? You forgot? Remember the girl who stuck a pair of scissors in your face 4 years ago?
What? You're Yuka? That same girl?
Yes, I'm that girl that was trying to get away without paying.
After she graduated high school, she started working as an office worker at a food company.
My hobby actually took off into YouTube, and people started liking my content. Then my company actually wanted me to go further too.
I actually work in the same company as well. I said she's cute, so we should use her as our talent as well. I was glad to hear that she was getting along well at her company.
I think I'll be able to make a great video here, so please make me another bowl of ramen.
Oh, sure thing, Yuka. I always try my best to make ramen for my customers. However, there was a lot more emotion charged behind my meal this time for Yuka. She was a different girl. She was healthy.
Oh, it's so good. It's better than the ramen from back then.
She couldn't stop eating. She looked so happy and began to cry. Maybe she remembered how tough times were back then. After the interview, she'd taken care of the bill and we shook hands.
I'll come again. I've eaten lots of foods, but this is hands down the best ramen I've ever had.
Thanks. I'm glad to hear that. It's even nicer coming from none other than Yuka. There were fans of hers who started showing up at the store a few days later. It was a heavy influx. Welcome. We only have counters open at this moment. Is that all right?
This is the store that Yuri Takamiya recommends, right?
Ah, there's the tearful episode seed! That episode that Yuka had uploaded of her crying while eating my ramen was considered the top episode. I wasn't sure where the information was leaked, but people who knew her all cried when they heard about her past. Because of that, it started getting tougher for Yuka to actually come by. Just kidding.
Good afternoon!
Oh, hey Yuka! Whoa! It's Yuri!
The real Yuri Takamiya!
If anything, she started coming to the store more frequently. Our store was one of the most likely places that you could run into Yuri Takamiya.
The usual, please.
Coming right up! Thanks for coming by as always. You've really helped me out.
Oh, please. This is the least I could do for you.
What do you mean? This is plenty.
Come on. I need to be thanking you. If you hadn't saved me that night...
It's true, I had no idea what would have happened to her if she kept getting neglected. And to think that there were still kids who were experiencing this kind of pain. Let's get past the emotional stuff. Here you are, your ramen. Eat up!
Whoa, it looks amazing! Thank you!
I saw Yuka smiling on the other side of a steaming bowl of ramen. She always eats my ramen like it's her last meal in the world. I'll continue to work hard for girls like her.
My name is Yuto Mita. Honestly, I'm just a high school student who you can find anywhere. Or I wish I could say that. I'm actually a pretty boring guy. It's not like I have any tricks up my sleeve. I'm pretty boring. I'm not good at sports, and I'm not exactly smart. It's not like I'm good at communicating, and I don't have many friends. I usually get messed with or sent off for grunt work. I was usually pretty much bullied.
Mita, can you clean for today?
But I stepped in for you before! What? It's not like you have anything to do. Thanks. Wait! I couldn't say no today either. But he wasn't the only one that would push this onto me. Most of the people who were popular were like this. Because of that, I spent probably half the month covering for other people. After I finished cleaning, I was walking home alone. Why do they all mess with me? I kept sighing and walking home when I noticed a little girl staring in front of a store. There was a cake store in the shopping alley. There was this little girl, maybe in the 1st or 2nd grade. She was squeezing her wallet and looked like she wanted to go into the cake store. She looked so troubled. But I think that if I talk to her, she's just gonna think I'm gross. I passed by her thinking about all the excuses. But
Oh, what should I do?
she looked like she was about to cry, so I had to do something. I mustered up all my courage and decided to talk to the girl. Is there something wrong?
It's my sister's birthday, so I want to buy her a cake.
Oh, I see. And you don't know how to buy a cake?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll help you buy your cake. Let's go.
Really? Thank you.
The girl smiled. I guess she didn't think I was suspicious. When we went inside, she looked at the cakes.
Welcome. Can I take your order?
She wanted to buy a cake.
I see. Which one do you want? This one.
She pointed at a whole cake with lots of fruit on it. Maybe it was the fruit, but it was more expensive than the other cakes.
Sis loves fruits.
Ah, I see. I'm sure she'll like it then.
Is it for a birthday? Yeah. Okay, I'll make a little plate for it. What do you want me to write? A happy birthday, Claire. Gotcha. I'm going to get it ready. Give me a second.
Claire. I feel like there was a Claire in my class, too. There was a classmate of mine who was called Claire Shishido. She's a little popular. She's beautiful, but loves to fight, and has never lost a one-on-one. She was super well-versed in martial arts, and some random boy wasn't enough to beat her. I couldn't possibly believe that this adorable little girl was her sister. Besides, their ages were too far apart. Must be a different person. And the cake was ready.
Here you are. It's going to be $48.
She froze when she heard the price. I asked her because I wasn't sure. How much do you have in your wallet? She pulled out her bills and change, and there was probably around $25 there. I should have asked her how much she had to spend. I was full of regret.
You don't have enough money? Yeah, it seems like it.
There was already a plate with the names on it, and the cake was packed. The girl was tearing up as she kept looking into her wallet. Maybe it's not good for me to just do this for a stranger. But oh well. I took out my money from the bag. Here's $50.
Huh? Are you sure?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Sir, are you sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, $50. Thank you so much!
I paid for the cake and handed it to the girl.
Thank you for coming by. Thank you. Santa?
Huh? Oh. When I took out my wallet a second ago, my gym clothes seemed to have come out. My name was there, so maybe she misread it for Santa. This is Mita. It's my last name.
Really? What a funny name.
You think so?
I need to go home now.
You know how to get home?
Yeah, if I get on one of these buses, I can make it home.
You sure? I couldn't trust it, so I looked up the bus for the girl and took her to the bus stop.
Thank you.
You be careful going home! Man, look at me doing something decent. I feel pretty good though. It was a nice road home. A few weeks later, I had already forgotten about that, but I was walking in the hallway when I felt someone staring at me. It was none other than Claire, the delinquent. She was glaring at me. What? Why is she staring at me? I thought she was going to threaten me, but she didn't do anything and left. However, that wasn't the end of it. I started stumbling into her more frequently. She would glare at me every time I ran into her. I really had no idea why she would be so angry with me, and I was too terrified to ask her myself. Then one day, something happened. Oh God, it's Shishido! I stumbled into her on the way home. I'm so scared. I need to run away!
Oh, hey!
I heard a familiar voice. I turned around and saw, you're that girl! Standing behind the glaring Shishido was the girl I helped at the cake store.
You're the Santa, huh?
I'm Mita.
Thanks for looking after my sister. I appreciate it.
Huh? Sister?
What? You got something you want to say?
No, ma'am! I can't believe these two are siblings! They have completely different moods about them! I was shocked! According to the little girl's story, she had made it home safely and gave the surprise cake. She talked about me, but could only say some characteristics and say that she was helped by Santa. You didn't remember my name, huh?
We never really spoke either, so I didn't know your name. My sister said that it's the guy that's pretty normal and doesn't wear glasses.
Ah, that's why you were glaring at me.
Anyway, let me pay you back for the cake.
No, I paid that because I wanted to. It was a birthday cake anyway.
No, I insist.
Hey, I'm thirsty.
Why don't we go to that cafe over there? Let me at least buy you a cup of coffee.
Let's go.
I was dragged by the sisters to a nearby cafe.
This strawberry parfait is so good.
You really like fruit, sis.
You can't beat fruits and sweets.
At first I was nervous, but after talking to her more, I saw that she was just a regular girl. I guess this is what's called not judging a book by its cover.
Our household is a single mother household, so there's no men. To my sister, you're the first man she could rely on. I'm glad that you were a good guy, Mita. I thought you were just some geek, but I respect you now.
Thanks.
You know, you don't look that bad either. You should just be more manly.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on, project your voice.
Yes, ma'am! Time flew by, and we were there for almost 2 hours. She ended up paying for my coffee tab. After that day, she started talking to me at school.
Yo!
Good morning, Miss Shishido.
Huh? You know him, Claire? Yeah.
At first, it was only when we spoke in the hallway, but eventually she would yell my name and wave at me in class. Then people started getting a little confused, thinking that I was friends with her. Then one day, the class bullies started messing with me as usual.
Go buy me a soda and some bread.
Normally I would have just agreed, but I remembered the advice that Shishido gave me at the cafe.
You need to be more manly. Project your voice, got it?
I have something to do. You go buy your own food.
What? You have some attitude.
Hey!
Huh? Before I realized, Shishido was standing behind the bullies.
Huh? Shishido?
Why does he have to go? You got a reason? You can't go buy it on your own?
I don't have a reason.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
She slowly moved towards them and grabbed one of them by the collar.
You better rethink your choices, Pipsqueak. If you do anything to this man, I'll make sure you regret it for the rest of your life.
Ah! I'm sorry!
Get out of here!
The bullies vanished. Miss Shishido, thank you.
Call it even.
After that, people completely stopped pushing their work onto me. They even started asking me what kind of relationship I had with the delinquent girl, but that actually led to me making some friends. I'm not sure why, but she started being more friendly to me too. Sometimes, we would even hang out together with her sister. One day, we went to a shopping mall, per Shishido's suggestion. Huh? Where's your sister?
It's just us today. Is that not okay?
Oh, I don't mind. But I'm just a little nervous because it's just us, you know?
Hey, you can call me Claire, you know. How long am I gonna be Miss Shishido?
We're not dating or anything.
Who cares? Come on, let's go buy you some clothes. I'll make sure you look good.
Thanks, but I don't want any flashy clothes.
Don't mock me. Come on, let's go.
Now that I think about it, my school life was a lot better than before. I just wanted to help out a little girl, but it turns out that she helped me. It's all thanks to her.
My name is Takanori. My family was poor, so I started working as soon as I graduated college. A year after I graduated, I started working at a small transport company with about 30 people. I work in sales development and transpo sales. I say sales, but our company isn't too big, so we don't really try to get new clients. What I do is set up who Company A will deliver their goods with a transpo company. My job description is basically just getting details of the delivery. For example, what is it you'd like to transport? How quickly would you like it transported by? Etc. Then I set up the details for the delivery. I make sure to listen to all of our clients' requests and fit the puzzle pieces together by scheduling everything. And there are times that I get confused, but there's no industry that doesn't need any goods delivered. I feel like our company and my work directly contribute to society, and I feel accomplished doing this job. Mr. Riku, can I have a second, please? What's up? This person is Riku. He's pretty quiet and kind of hangs around. At first, he's hard to get close to, but when it comes down to it, he's reliable. The Manu Transport we secured a deal with before wants to change the contract details. Change the contract? We have 8-ton trucks in our contract, but he would like to adjust it to 4-ton trucks. I see. Then... Oh, come on! You should ask me, not him! A man peered behind me. Oh, great. Shinya. He's technically more of a veteran than Mr. Riku, but he always messes with Riku. For example, he was working on presentation documents that he was going to be using for our CEO. These documents were pretty tough to make, so he was working on it overtime. What? Still staying behind? I feel bad for you. No one wants to help you because you're a loner. Of course, that's not the case. I even asked if I could help, but it's annoying, but I have everything I need. I can just summarize it all. Don't worry about it. He didn't want to burden anyone else. I wanted to tell Shinya off, but Riku waved me off. He probably didn't want any needless fighting. Wow, he's not even saying anything. You should stop being the quiet loner. You're never going to be able to work sales. He would just try to start fights with him all the time like a child. That's not it. Shinya also pushes jobs onto Riku. Riku, the client I just went to seems a little annoying, so I'll just let you handle it. But if the point of contact abruptly changes, the clients will be confused too. What? You're upset because I told you which client you can work with? No, that's not what I mean. Whatever. Good luck convincing that stubborn old man. He just pushed the difficult clients onto Riku, and after Riku secured the contract, you should thank me for finding the lead. You probably can't find any clients if it wasn't for me assisting you like this. He would spur on Riku like this. Honestly, I'm probably more pissed off than he is because Mr. Riku seems to just brush it off like it's nothing. Then one day, it was after I was asking for help adjusting details with a client. You need to realize something, Takanori. If you change the contract, we're gonna miss out on a lot of money. I mean, yes. We just make some excuses to turn it down. Like we're too close to the day to actually make any adjustments. But what happens when they find out? What? What do you know, newbie? You're saying you can't listen to me? He grabbed my shoulder. I couldn't say anything back because I was too confused. Riku came and made him let go. Mr. Shinya, I will handle it with Takanori, so please return to your job. What? Look at this little nerd trying to tell me what to do. If you're gonna wuss out, then maybe you shouldn't pick a fight. Shinya scoffed and waved his hand. You guys just be nerds together. This is dumb. I'm gonna go on my sales rounds now. And left the office. Sorry. Oh, it's not your fault at all. Anyway, let's get back to matters at hand. I had Mr. Riku help me out, and we did our best to try to adjust the contract to better fit our client's needs. So, just like I said earlier, he might not be very talkative, but when push comes to shove, he always helps you out. I thought of him like a brother. A few months later, I'm happy to announce that starting this spring, Riku will be promoted to section manager. I'm sure he's going to take a little time to get used to things, so make sure you guys help him out. Thank you all. Riku just bowed his head and a thunderous round of applause broke out. I was incredibly happy about this as well. I also respected the CEO for realizing the potential in Riku when he wasn't exactly the most obvious candidate for the promotion. Everyone, not just me, was happy to hear that he was promoted. Except one. You guessed it, Shinya. He must have been jealous of his promotion. He stepped up his annoying games. He would intentionally avoid telling Riku about the appointment calls he received from clients. I didn't tell you? You probably just don't remember. He would laugh about the whole thing. Another day, Riku seemed to have lost important documents for a presentation from his desk. I swear I put them here. Riku was so confused, and behind him stood a grinning Shinya. I don't have any proof, but he had to have been responsible for all of it. The annoyances gradually grew worse. Shinya is definitely doing it despite you. I'm gonna go talk to the CEO. No, stop. Don't have any proof. Let's just focus on what we can do. Faced his desk. Was angry and frustrated every day as he just kept doing more and more terrible things to Mr. Riku. I was also frustrated because I couldn't do anything about it. Eventually, it was March and Riku was going to have a party with everyone to celebrate his promotion. The CEO had something he had to attend, so he would be joining later. But about 30 of us were partying first. I was drinking alcohol-free beer, but the others were all merry and tipsy. In the midst of all this fun...
Can you stop?
Oh, come on! The drunk Shinya was messing with a female coworker. It was basically sexual harassment. I went to the woman and... cut it out! Got between the two. What? You must be a brave idiot! I'm nice now, but I used to be a little crazy back in the day. I can't stop once I start going crazy! He swung his fist up in the air. Thought he was joking, but I got ready when... What? Someone grabbed his fist from behind. Mr. Riku! Mr. Shinya, please calm down. Oh, if it isn't Mr. Section Manager! I didn't even notice you there. Oh, consider this a congrats. Huh? You wouldn't believe it. Shinya threw his beer on Mr. Riku. Sorry, I slipped. Here, the ground is wet, so clean it up. What? What? The trembling finger pointed at Mr. Riku's tattoo that was all over his chest. What the hell is that? Everyone was confused by the tattoos, and the CEO joined us. What's going on? What happened? Sir, he's got tattoos! I know. You're going to promote this... Huh? Wait, what? I said I know. What the hell is going on? I explained everything to a confused CEO. After he heard me, he went up to Riku and patted his head. You've really improved. You had beer thrown on you and didn't lay a single finger on him. Thank you, sir. Sir? Who is Riku? Oh, he used to be pretty crazy and wild back in the day. How many people did he send to the hospital? Sir, I've already moved on past that life. Well, the ones that were sent to the hospital were sent for good reason. Well, what is that? You guys can't work around this Yakuza, right, guys? He was trying his best to get support from the employees around him, but... He's a little tough to get used to, but I can tell he's super kind by how he is when we work.
Mr. Riku always supported me when I asked for help. He also doesn't sexually harass anyone.
The others were completely disagreeing with what Shinya was saying. What the hell, guys? He just collapsed on his knees. Riku said he quit from the violence. He changed it completely and joined our company. At first, I was a little hesitant after seeing the tattoos, but after seeing how hard he worked, I knew I could trust him. Shinya, you should probably learn a thing or two from him before screaming about his tattoos. Yes, sir. All right, let's get this party restarted. We cheer with our CEO once more, and Shinya left with the CEO and never came back after. It was a new fiscal year. Mr. Riku was promoted to section manager. The others never ran away from him for having tattoos. Shinya was far from being promoted. He actually managed to lose pay. It was probably because he poured beer on Riku. Apparently, this whole debacle caused people to figure out how he was lying about going to rounds and skipping work. Not only that, I have no idea what the CEO said to him or how he was scolded, but he has calmed down like a little kitten. To add to things, Mr. Riku! Hello! Would you like something to drink? Now he just freezes up when he locks eyes with Riku. I don't like that he's scared either. Who cares? It's better than before. Honestly, I wish he was punished heavier. Mr. Shinya, let's go make coffee for Mr. Riku. Yeah! It was a little creepy seeing him walk around all scared like that, but he must have really had the fear of God put into him by our CEO. He may look fairly harmless, but if you look at his back tats... Anyway, let's just leave the fantasy in our head. Hey, Takanori! Yes, sir? Put in 2 sugars. Got it. It was a good thing that we got along. I hope we keep these peaceful days going. My name is Yoshio Matsuki. I was raised by my parents who didn't talk very much and by a strict grandfather. It might have been their influence, but my hobbies were reading and watching anime. That's why I was basically not good at talking to people. I was able to talk with those who had the same interests as me, but I had trouble talking with those who didn't. I particularly had trouble talking with girls. I couldn't look at them properly while talking to them. I was going to start working and join the society soon, and I thought I needed to do something about it. So in university, I chose to join a club. When I was a high school student, I went on a trip abroad and couldn't speak any English at all. So I decided that this would be a good chance to join a language club.
Welcome!
My name is Yoshio Matsuki. Nice to meet you. Great to have you here. There were many fancy-looking people here, but when I talked to them, they seemed normal. I was able to talk to them more or less normally. Matsuki! We're planning to have a study session with another school next time. But do you want to join us? Oh, then I'd like to join in.
You study hard and your English is getting very good. Please teach me next time.
Sure. If I can help you, that's great. People looked very outgoing, but some of them shared my reading and anime interests. So the club was unexpectedly fun. Things were like this. I should have made an effort to talk to people during high school, I thought. But... Oh, Matsuki is here. Having a super serious guy like you makes me feel less excited, you know. I didn't like this guy. This macho-looking guy's name is Sato. He was in the same year. Apparently, he prided himself on having been a kind of gangster when he was in high school. It seems that he joined the club in order to get girls. He also came from a rich family and had money to spend. He would approach a cute girl and say, "You go out with me, you'll have a good time." Generally, people who had common sense stayed away from Sato. But there were a few girls who did take up on Sato's offer, because Sato was not so bad looking. There were always girls around him, and he would be sitting in the center with a smirk on his face. If that were all, it wouldn't have mattered much. But somehow Sato thought that by bullying me, he could get more attention within the club. So he started to pick fights with me. A gloomy guy like you tends to find no job after graduation, and the taxpayers have to look after you. You know, when a pessimistic guy like you is around, I lose my motivation to study. You should just go home and watch some anime, you nerd. He would laugh at me and try to pick a fight. Other students in the same year would say, "You don't need to answer Sato," or "Just ignore him." But I felt irritated from being picked on every time we met. My study was not going so well either. So one day, I finally answered back. "Can you stop messing with me? If you don't want to be a productive member in this club, why don't you go join another one?" What? You're answering me back? Interesting. I'm famous back home for being a good fighter. You want to know what can happen when you get on my bad side? If you do that, you'll bring trouble to the other club members as well, so quit it. What? You chicken? A guy like you should be turned into pulp! Sato raised his fist to punch me. What's going on? A fight? The professor happened to pass by our room and stared around at us. No, we were just playing around. He thought it wouldn't be such a great idea to continue the fight with the professor around, so Sato left while laughing away. I had hoped things would quiet down with Sato, but he seemed to have no regrets for what happened and brought yet another trouble. After our club session, the members went out for a drink. On our way home, Sato's shoulder hit a businessman on the street. Ouch! Hey, where do you think you're going? What the hell, you brat? Guy also seemed to be pretty drunk, so they were about to start a fight. Sato! If you start a fight here, you could be suspended from school, or worse, expelled. You want to bring trouble on us as well, or what? We were in our third year and had job hunting ahead of us. If he got into trouble, we might have had to take responsibility as a group, and that would be very bad for all of us. I intervened between the businessman and Sato. I am really sorry. I apologize for my friend's rudeness. Please forgive us.
Well, as you mean it. There won't be a next time, though.
Sato was still angry, but the girls somehow managed to calm him down and we were able to avoid the trouble. Because of this incident, all the girls at the club, including those who had been hanging around with Sato, said, "I can't believe he would try to pick a fight with a guy like that," and started avoiding him.
Huh.
Seems that Sato really didn't find this funny. After that, he made it clear that he was not enjoying the situation, and he used every chance he got to start a fight with me because of what I had done at that time. Of course, I ignored him completely. Everyone around me were on my side as well. I continued to ignore his instigation and avoid him as much as possible for the next few months. I was able to find a company that would hire me.
Natsuki, congratulations. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Hey, let's have a party to celebrate the occasion with others who have finished their job hunting. Oh? To be honest, I thought it was kind of embarrassing to be celebrated and was thinking about saying no.
Sounds good. Let's have a party. I also got hired. Let's all celebrate.
If he's going to participate, nothing good would come out of it. But when all the others were going to be there except me, I thought it wouldn't be so great for the group. So I decided to attend the party. As expected, something terrible happened at the party.
Hey, drink this. It's to celebrate the occasion.
I'm not such a strong drinker. Sato had been drinking like a fish, and he came over to my side and started messing around with me. I found him unbearable, but if I avoided him, there may be others who would have to put up with Sato. I thought I would just put up with it until he passes out from drinking too much. But just then...
You can't drink the liquor I gave you? How do you think you'll survive out in the real world? There you go! Congratulations on getting a job!
Sato actually poured beer on my head.
Oh my god! Natsuki, are you okay?
Hey, Sato! What the hell are you doing?
This is how you start a fight! If you're angry, why don't you fight me? So? I guess a gloomy guy like you can't fight?
So when I was trying to bear it out, he did whatever he liked. I too was a little drunk and I stood up to face Sato. No, that's not right. Fight. This is how you do it.
What? What the hell are you saying?
I didn't wait to hear his answer. I put beer in my mouth and spit it out at full force in Sato's eyes.
Ah! My eyes! My eyes!
He was completely taken unawares and he was rolling on the floor with his hands covering his eyes. Stand up. I have permission from my teacher to fight you if it's self-defense. So I'm going to do as much as I like today.
Teacher?
I have a black belt in karate of the Manhwa school. I guess you don't know, but people who have some experience in karate know who I am, you know.
Manhwa school? The pioneer of the martial arts?
Hey, Natsuki's name is on the web.
He's won in the national tournament! Oh, wow! That's right. I look skinny on the outside, but if I take my clothes off, I have good muscles. An amateur could not beat me with my martial arts skills. Those around me had searched my name on the web and showed it to Sato. His drunken face turned pale.
You? A black belt? A champion? I'll let you go this time! Don't forget what you did to me tonight!
He ran off with those words. After we watched Sato ran off, all of us couldn't stop laughing. What was that?
What a chicken!
No way!
After that, we resumed our celebration and we were able to have a good time. Sato was persistent. The story did not end there.
If I let people know what you did to me that night, your company will not hire you anymore! If you don't want that to happen to you, apologize to me now!
Sato had brought along some dubious-looking dudes with him. I had never seen them before, so they probably were guys he had been hanging around with in his high school days. Jeez, Sato really didn't get enough of it. You can say whatever you want. It wouldn't hurt me one bit.
Don't pretend! I know that only one company has made you an offer. If you don't want me to expose what happened, get down on your knees and apologize!
You can say whatever you want. I've been scouted by a martial artist from overseas to open up a dojo there. So I'm planning to turn down the company's offer anyway.
What? You think I would believe such a lie? You can believe what you want, but you had better watch out for yourself. Seems that someone was recording you while you would pour beard on my head that night at the bar. It's going viral on the social media now. Maybe your job offer is not so secure now. I showed him the video on my smartphone. What is this? After that, Sato lost his job offer because of that video that went viral. He also had to stay an extra year in university because the professor found out that he had cheated during an exam. His parents found out what he'd been up to and seemed to have beat him up for it. When I saw Sato a month later, his face was all puffed up. I couldn't help laughing a bit. After that, I graduated from university and moved to another prefecture. Actually, I'm gonna start a dojo overseas was a bluff. Turned out that a company my relative runs was looking for people to work with them, so I decided to work there. If I said overseas, I thought Sato would give up the fight. Apparently, Sato had enough on his hands since he was having to repeat a year. Seems like Sato had other credits taken away from him. The school found out that he plagiarized his report from something he found on the web. Well, that's too bad. Well, I guess he got what he deserved. It was unfortunate that I had to deal with Sato, but thanks to my club members, my communication skills improved somewhat, and I'm doing pretty well with my work. So I think things turned out pretty well. I hope I can live a peaceful life as a member of society from now on.